Hi everyone, Bruce here at eTrailer. Today we're going to take a look at and install the CURT Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2015 Mini Cooper. This is a Class 1 trailer hitch receiver, so it is a light duty receiver, but will be great for hauling bike racks or even a smaller cargo carrier. This receiver does have a 2,000 pound gross trailer weight rating with a 200 pound gross tongue weight rating. And the tongue weight rating is just the downforce of anything you've got loaded. It's the force pushing down onto the ground. Now looking at our safety chain tabs here, it will allow for the S-hook and the clevis style hook safety chain. Now looking at our tube here, we do have an 1¼ inch by 1¼ inch opening to accept any accessories with that size shank. And we do need a 1/2 inch pin and clip that it does not come with, so you will need to pick one of those up. Now I want to go ahead and take a couple measurements. The first measurement I'm going to take is from the center of our hitch pin here to the outside of the bumper, and we're looking at about 4.5 inches. The reason I'm giving you that number, because that will determine how long of a shank you need to come out if you have any folding accessories. You don't want them to hit the back of your vehicle, so you need to make sure you get a long enough shank so you're able to go ahead and fold those up. Now the next measurement I do want to take is our ground clearance, and I'm going to go from the bottom of the tube to the ground, and we are looking at about 7 inches. Now keep that in mind. If you do have anything on here that when you do put a little weight on here, the car is going to squat a little bit, so just keep that in mind for going up any steeper grades or even in this vehicle, possibly a curb on your driveway. Now looking at the receiver hitch here, it does look really nice and it is hidden. Now there is a couple of things I do want to mention. Is a few people mentioned that they won't have a spare tire anymore because they said you got to take the spare tire out in order for this to fit. We did not have to do that. Now our spare tire is up underneath the vehicle. We really didn't have a problem with that. I didn't have to move it to install the hitch or anything. So with that being said, if you don't want to try this at home, check out our dealer locator on etrailer.com. But if you want to go ahead and give it a shot at home, stick around. I'll show you how. The first step in our installation, we do need to remove the rear taillights and get them off of the vehicle. And we are working on the passenger side right now. You will do the same thing to the driver's side. We're going to take a little plastic trim tool here, and you're just going to work it around and try and pop this out. Sometimes they're difficult, but once you get it started, it should be pretty simple. Something I did want to show, this is where that little chrome piece is connected. See these little black tabs? So if you can get your trim tool in that area to pop these out, it's going to work a whole lot easier. And also, if you noticed, I put painter's tape around here just to not mess up the finish of the vehicle so we don't put any scratches in it. Go ahead and grab a T20 Torx bit, and there are 3 T20 screws that are holding the lens in here. You got 1 here and 2 at the bottom. Let's go ahead and remove those. Now on the passenger side here, if you look inside where the hatch is, you'll see this little piece that can pop out. We need to pop that out like so and go ahead and set that aside. That does give us access to the bulb inside here. We do have to unplug, and there are a couple of tabs that you need to squeeze to actually get the light out. So if you notice, the light won't go anywhere, and there are a couple of tabs inside. At the bottom of the light, here's the driver's side. So these tabs right here, you just got to pull this out on the bottom corners, and that light will pop out of there. So let's go ahead and reach in here and do that. There we go. Squeeze that, pull the light out, and you're going to have a plug on there. We're going to go ahead and push down on this tab here and pull that, disconnect that plug. And go ahead and set your light aside. Our next step is we've got to pull this fender flare off a little bit. There is a hidden screw up here that's holding our fascia on. In order to do that, we're just going to pull back on here and just give her a tug like that. And try not to pull the light out of there. And there is a plug on the back side of this light. We got to unplug that and just keep working the fascia off. There is our hidden screw that we've got to get to. And the instructions say it is a Phillips head. It is not. It is the same size as the taking out the headlamps or the tail lamps, which is a T20. So there are a couple of screws we need to take out. We need to take out one underneath the fender flare here that we just pulled off. And then there's another one here. And that is a T20. So we'll go ahead and remove both of them and just set them aside. Now you may need a little tool like this or a smaller 1/4 inch wrench. You could get in here and go ahead and get this screw out. Grabbing an 8mm, we need to go ahead and remove 10 bolts from underneath the vehicle. And we're just going to be going along the bottom of the fascia here all the way down, all the way to the passenger side and removing all of those bolts. Go ahead and grab a plastic trim tool or even a screwdriver will work with this. See these little tabs right here? We're just going to go right up underneath the tab like so, and while applying pressure towards yourself, just kind of work that off. Be careful because you don't want to break those tabs. There we go. And just keep working it out just like that. Now that we have that pulled out, we can go ahead and grab the rest of it. We're going to pull this out of the way. We may need to go ahead and unplug a light down here. So we do got the third brake light down on the bottom. We do have to go ahead and unplug that. You're just going to push down here and pull it out. Now you can take the fascia and go ahead and set it aside for now. Go ahead and take a 18mm, and we need to take off 4 bolts from the bumper beam here. So there's 2 on this side and 2 on the passenger side. Go ahead and take the bumper beam off of its 2 bolts and go ahead and just set it aside for now. Go ahead and grab a 10mm. We do have 6 bolts we got to get out of the plastic pieces here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We do need to do some trimming on the heat shield here. What we did here was measure up from the bottom of the heat shield up 2.5 inches and kind of just draw a line there. It does, in the instructions, it says to go ahead and remove the heat shield, cut it, then put it back in. But we're going to go ahead and try doing it without taking that all down. I did end up using a multi-tool to go ahead and cut this, but to finish up, I am going back to the 10 snips, and we're just going to go straight across right here to get it off the remaining piece. Now, the piece we did cut off You notice that's where some of our bolts went to hold on the bottom of the fascia. There is one piece that we do need to take off and put back on. So we're going to remove one of these plastic pieces because it will need to go in place of this piece here because it was attached to this like so, right down here. So this plastic piece is actually here and then it screws down. So we're going to take this piece and we're going to actually go on that piece so we can still have a bolt going in and holding on our fascia. Now we did mock up the hitch a little bit and we still got to cut out a little more. You can see where the hitch is rubbing right here. So we're going to cut a little section off here and test fit it again. Now we can go ahead and grab our hitch and go ahead and put it in place. It's going to go, this bracket here is going to go right in here. So we've got to go up underneath these little plastic pieces that we removed earlier. Pull those out of the way, get the left side started, and I can just slide this one over. Like so. And she got a nice fit. Grab the bumper beam and the nuts we took off to get the bumper beam off. We are going to use those. Let's go ahead and put the bumper beam back on. And we'll get the nuts loosely on there for now. We will come back by and torque them down. Before we do torque this down, there are some plastic pieces here that I am going to recommend that you actually notch out. We're going to notch this one from basically right here. And then we're just going to come down right to about there. Because you see, it's not sitting the way it needs to be sitting here. So we are going to go ahead and notch that out. And there's one on the passenger side as well. I went ahead and grabbed a multi-tool. And we're going to go ahead and notch this out. All we're going to do is pull back on this a little bit and go ahead and use our multi-tool to go ahead and cut that. So here's what we ended up doing with these little plastic pieces coming down. We went ahead and notched them out so they sit nice and flat against our hitch now. We did that on both sides. You still see the paint marks there, but once we put the fascia back on, you won't see any of this anyway. So now that we've got that cut out, we can go ahead and torque our bumper down to the manufacturer specifications. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can rent one from your local auto parts store, or we do carry them here at eTrailer. Just look in the instructions. It will tell you what to torque them down to. Now that you do have everything torqued down, you can go ahead and put everything back on in the reverse order you took it off. Once you've got everything buttoned up, that does complete the installation of our CURT Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2015 Mini Cooper. I'm Bruce. Thanks for watching.